Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, being an avid skier, as soon as my daughter Maddie could take ski lessons, we signed her up. By the time she was 6 years old, she was pretty good. She could get around the mountain pretty much anywhere on the mountain. Now, if you've ever gone skiing with a 6-year-old, you'll know it takes a lot of skill and planning. I remember one particular time we got to the ski slope, and it was just her and I up for the day. And as usual, I said, now, before you go out, let's go to the bathroom. And as usual, she said, I don't have to go. So we went out, and of course, every time we came down the slope, I said, do you need to go to the bathroom yet? And she'd say no. And then, of course, one time we get on the lift, and 30 seconds into the ride, he says, I have to go to the bathroom really bad. I said, okay, well, we've got to get to the top, and then we've got to come back down before you can go to the bathroom. So we get to the top, we get off the lift, and we start heading down. We're going pretty fast, but I'm checking back there every once in a while to make sure she's still following me. And then one time I stop, and I look back up the slope. No Maddie. So I wait a few minutes, thinking maybe she fell down, trying to catch up. No Maddie. Wait a few more minutes. No Maddie. So I thought, well, maybe she got onto another run. I'm going to go down to the end of this run, wait there, maybe I'll see her down there. I ski down. No Maddie. Wait a few minutes. No Maddie. Then I thought, okay, maybe she made it to the closest lift. Skied down to the lift, looked around, no Maddie. At this point, I had determined that I had lost my daughter. Now, I wasn't that concerned because I knew I'd find her. I knew plenty of parents who had lost their kids on the slope, but I didn't know anybody that had never found them. What I was really worried about was what my wife would say when she heard about this story. So I went down to the lift operator. I said, I've lost my daughter. He said, come on in. Went into the little hut. He picked up the phone, dialed a number, and I got on the phone, and I said to the woman on the other end, I said, I've lost my daughter. And she said, is her name Maddie? I was elated to hear that. Well, it turns out she had already found herself. Turns out, though, she was at a totally different lift. I had to get on the lift, go up, ski down to the other lift to find her. That was about 15, 20 minutes to do that. But I did it, and as I skied down to this other lift, I could see from a distance that she was out there playing, having a snowball fight with the lift operator. So at least I knew she wasn't going to be scarred for life from losing her. So I skied up to her, and she seemed fine, having a good time. I said, Maddie, did you go to the bathroom? She said, no, I don't need to go anymore. Well, I learned a few lessons from that incident. The first lesson was, when you're skiing with a 6-year-old, always keep them in front of you. From that point on, until she was old enough that I didn't have to worry about her getting lost, I always kept her in front of me on the ski slope. And I'm happy to report that I never lost her again. When we'd be out on the slope, I'd be leading her, but I'd stay behind and keep an eye on her and maybe give her some suggestions or tell her, hey, we need to turn here, or wait for me to catch up to you. What I was doing, though, was I was trying to lead her from behind. And it worked out pretty well. When I think about the rest of the time that I've spent trying to raise my daughter, I think the method I've used is pretty much leading from behind. I think I got this method from my dad. See, my mother and father were very different when it came to raising kids, which is probably why they divorced when I was 8 years old. That's another story. My mother was pretty traditional, pretty strict. You know, once in a while yelled at us. If she told us what to do, if we said, Why? She said, because I told you so. My dad was totally opposite. Very laid back, kind of let us do what we wanted to do. I hardly remember my dad getting upset with us. But the thing that was interesting was, or the key, I think, to how he raised us was, he trusted us. He trusted me. And I really valued that trust. Maybe it was because I came from a home where my parents were divorced, and that trust was something that was important to me. I always behaved when I was with my dad because I never wanted to lose that trust. That was so important to me. I never wanted to do anything to jeopardize the trust that he had had in me. So as I've raised my daughter, I've tried to do the same thing. I've tried to trust her. I've tried to kind of let her be independent, try not to nag her, try to let her make her own decisions, give her a couple of suggestions, try to pick her up if she falls down, try to lead her in the right direction, point her in the right direction, but really try to trust her and lead her from behind. I don't know if that works with all kids. So far it's worked pretty good with my daughter. My 6-year-old is now a senior in high school with a 4.2 grade average, and she's got academic scholarships to Oregon, Kansas State, and Arizona. Hopefully she'll be studying architecture at one of those 3 schools. So leading from behind. It's not really a natural thing to do. It's not always easy to do. It doesn't get you down the slope as fast as you want. It might be a good way to raise your kids. Mr. Toastmaster.